I did feel very happy to be invited back because I had felt like, hey, this turned out nice. So when it was brought up, will you tell us how you made it? Right away I said, yes, I'd love to. I think it's something that people will enjoy, hopefully as much as I was enjoying having made it. So let me backtrack a little here, and since we have a little bit of extra time, I want to hand out some index cards. And on those index cards, if you will write your name on it, we're going to have 4 drawings. Moises Garza, who is here, everyone here should know Moises. He generously donated 3 of his booklets or books to be held as raffle. In addition, if someone would like, I will help them develop their own display. So that will be available, and the way it'll work is that you may not need a display. So you get to choose, the first person chosen will be the, what do you call it? First choice grab bag kind of thing, okay? So I hope we have enough cards. I think we do. And during this time, let me introduce as well my wonderful wife, Martha, who is handing out the cards here. She took the time to come and enjoy her husband's presentation, even though she has a lot of grading to do. Very sweet of her. Secondly, and I'm hoping that they show up, I ran into an old second grade friend, a friend that I've known since second grade. We must have lost touch for a good 30 years. After high school, and his name happens to be Stephen Alden, and Steve Alden is, a lot of you will recognize the name as Alden, as in Mayflower Alden, so that's his descendancy. And descendancy? No, it's
ancestry.
Yeah. And he was in the company of his date, and his date's name was Leticia Benavides. And when she mentioned her name, I said, is that like Baez de Benavides? And she goes like, oh, not a lot of people know that. What do you know about this? And I said, well, I just know I've seen that name in documents. But to get to the fun part of it is that she mentioned that she had worked at the state of Tamaulipas in the cultural programs office, and that she, because of their work, that she had run into a lot of the investigators and authors and people that had done work on the Mexican side on issues related to us. Like she mentioned Patricia Osante, and I recognize that name from Orígenes de Nuevo León, de Nuevo Santander. So she said, I've been in contact with her. We've traded a lot of information on the phone. She mentioned another lady named Maria Luisa. I can't remember the last name, but she said she wrote a book called Raíces Africanas de Tamaulipas, and that she had done extensive research in that area, and that was an area that needed more attention, and so on and so forth. But more than that, I was impressed by how she was able to relate her own Benavides story, and to the point where she said, my brother is now a citizen of Israel because of all the research that he did that reconnected him back to his roots. And he says the Baez, B-A-E-Z, his, I'm going to say Jewish name, is Weiss, W-E-I-S-S. And I'm like, okay, I have to invite you to this conference. I hope she shows up. But she would be a wonderful resource that I would like to connect the officers here with you. And are you all writing your names?
Just the name or email too?
Well, I'm just going to...
Okay, for the record.
Yes.
Say it
You guys wrote
again.
it?
Get the name again and her name.
Oh, her name is Leticia Benavides. Now, she's not actively working with them right now. She says, I know how to get a hold of all of them. I've worked with them. So, I'm thinking that, I really think that this goes back a long way, but he was a pretty loyal friend. I think he'll show up, even if he might be able to do it.
Where do they live?
One lives in Ciudad Victoria, she does, and my friend Steve lives in Dallas. He's not that good on Hispanic genealogy. But he's dating someone that is. I guess I'll collect the cards myself then. I think my wife took a quick,
You want me to collect them? I'll collect them.
okay, thank you, Melissa.
Did you call her name?
Yeah, just the names, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick right now, and you guys are gonna get, let's start it off with a,
What was the name of the book?
one was, I can't remember, Patricio Sante wrote Orígenes de Nuevo Santander, something along that line. And the other one was Raíces Africanas de Tamaulipas. And I can't remember the lady's name, Maria Luisa. It might come back to me. But the name, the title itself should be, a pretty big clue. All right, everybody's name in? We're gonna do this? Okay, so what we're giving away, what says has the 50 website booklets, two, and we have the Mexican genealogy research online. And here comes Plymouth Rock himself. And what was the other one?
You're
Yes.
gonna help us.
Yes, I will offer my services over a period of time. I'm coming into a very busy week with my brother-in-law getting married, and that means my wife is busy, and that makes me busy. So, but I will absolutely help someone who is interested. So, I'm going to ask them to pick the names when they come in.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¡Qué milagro! No lo puedo creer. Esto es...
Gran
No se
placer,
lo-
gran placer.
Es un placer conocerte.
Okay, so I just introduced you all. Thank you very much for coming. My good friend, I can't believe it, from second grade, we talked as if we had gotten off the phone yesterday. But, yeah, we did a lot of crazy stuff too. Okay. Steve, I'm going to ask you to pick the first card. The honors. How are you? Okay. Take it. Rosette, Jaime. Caballero.
Caballero.
Caballero. Yes. He's not trusting my arts. Which one do you want?
The other one, the Mexican genealogy.
Okay, yo, and thank you, muchas gracias. Ms. Benavides, if you could do us the honor. Excuse me on the pronunciation, Rayma? Rayma, Ormsby? Yes. It's either one of these or.
What is it? It's similar.
Okay. We have one more. And let me sneak my answer in the meantime. Casasus? Casasus. María Luisa Herrera Casasus. Fantastic. Okay. So, I have one more. Two more. Oh.
Wait, oh my God. Yeah, it's okay.
No, that's good. I think maybe make it a bundle. You know, my eyesight. Andreina, not only my eyesight, my pronunciation. Muniz, oh my goodness. 3 times, we get to thank one says. All right. One more. And brother audience, here you go, young man. Martha Davila. She didn't know it. Lee Ormsby. If she was Ormsby, that means you're Ormsby. Now, if you're not in, and trying to be generous here, if you're not in need of any help, maybe you could offer it to someone who might be, but I'm willing to help you or anyone else with your display. All right, so. Is Ms. Torres? No, she's here. Ms. Torres, thank you for inviting me back. Ms. Olson, Mr. Catu, Ms. Barrera, all the officers. It does kind of feel special. I was here in April. I did present on the Reynosa Marriages book. I got a lot of good feedback. And I did have one guy say, hey, don't pay for anything because it's all online. That was on Amazon. But there was other people that came back and said, yes, it's online, but you try to find these records. All right, so. This doesn't happen. Did it work? I'm gonna check your.
There.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Clicked it twice.
Saw that. I'm going the wrong way. I did this last time, so I'm pretty good at it. All right, we're going to get to this. Here's my presentation. Is that nice? That's my title, Applying Research Techniques. Sorry for the rough start. Not only quick start. Applying Research Techniques for a family tree display. I was asked to present this. I ran into a little problem. I was so excited and said yes. And as I was putting the information together, I thought, this wasn't as easy as I thought. And I'm using a very technical program that is not even readily available. But I'm going to go ahead and make the presentation because there's other tools that you can substitute. And I wanted to add other things of my experience and how I came about developing the display to make sure that I captured something that was potentially beneficial for everyone. So that's how the program is structured. Going to take 2 30-minute sessions. The first part, the techniques that I use, I'm calling them a canvas and a matrix. And we're going to come back and we're going to get into DNA, which is the topic of the moment as far as I'm concerned in genealogy. And I'll point out some family tree display, which is, this is the moment that we've waited for, right? The family tree display, how to make it. So we'll take it from there. I'm hoping it's informative, somewhat entertaining, and mostly beneficial. So that's the way we're going to approach this. Let's get off to the picture. You saw how we started already. And I mention this a lot because a lot of the people that I talk to that are not familiar with genealogy here, they're familiar with Star Trek. If they grew up in the 60s like I did, at least, they're familiar with Star Trek. I said, well, think of Star Trek showing up on the river here. There was just a small group. And that small group, if you go out and colonize a new world, everyone comes from that small group. So I think that certainly fits us. And if it doesn't register, the fit doesn't fit, you can always have fun looking at the spaceship. So we all come from the same crew. And most of us here know, because I think I'm talking to experienced genealogists, that most of our crew started in Nuevo León and Nuevo Reino de León. And that's a pretty special crew as far as I'm concerned. And Steve, while you weren't here, I introduced you. I told them your origins. I think it's fabulous that my best friend happened to be a Plymouth Rock guy. Plymouth Rock, Pilgrims, 16-something. And here I am in the 1600s. My ancestors are from Monterrey, and we became good friends, and we're still friends today. Most of the time. All right. My quest started with Esteban Davila because His records were found in abundance. Well, generally, it was easy to get back to him because he was in several census, and I had enough information to know that that was my Esteban Navidad. He was listed as being born in 1823. He was in several Hidalgo County tax rolls or census and tax rolls. But I didn't really know anything else about him. And my father and other close Davila relatives couldn't tell me anything about him either. It was 20 years. I started back in the mid-90s, and I can't say it's been a long, long road of research, because when I say 20 years, I know people, someone pointed out before the meeting, said, I've been researching for 50 years. So my 20 years is significant to me, but I know that the people have done these wonderful things, as far as I'm concerned, for a long time. So that's up to you. I got it through Ancestry.com. A cousin of mine named Octavio, he was here at the last presentation. He contacted me through the little messaging system. I said, I've been looking for you, he says, and I said, okay, so here I am. And it was wonderful to meet, and he says, we discussed this, Della, and he goes, I know that his father's name was Teodoro. Well, how do you know that? Because my father told me it's about all he really remembers. But that's a lot. But you've been waiting 20 years to go to the next name on your ancestry. Oh, I mentioned back here. Another relative, she would have been a grand aunt of mine. Am I saying that right? A grand aunt, yes. My grandfather's sister was the only living relative at the time that I could get in contact with. And she said, ay, mijito, pues se me hace que veníamos de Nuevo León, de China, Nuevo León, pero no estoy seguro. Okay. So, that's better than not knowing anything else. And so I took out on here's the three methods. Now, I didn't go out and say, I'm going to apply this method. I'm describing what I went through. I'm going back and thinking, okay, this is what I did. And I think maybe other people that aren't familiar with the process will be able to benefit from the little pieces that I picked up here and there. So I called it Canvas, Matrix, DNA, and I'm introducing a new word at the bottom. The three keys: persistent patience, and playing, whole hard work, and a lot of good old-fashioned love. That's the new vocabulary for the day. I'm going to collect an essay at the end of this. Oh, okay, so here we go. The Canvas portion, when I say Canvas, I'm referring to, there's all this body of information, and you have to kind of like bring it all together and know what's out there and know what's not. And I wasn't very good. I was relying on U.S. Census records and whatever little things were available locally. I didn't even know Pan Am had, at that time Pan Am had a special collection section. And when I'd gone, they hadn't really pointed me to what I was looking for. But nevertheless, that's what I'm referring to. And my canvas consisted of these things. The Ancestry.com is where I met this relative. A wonderful researcher in California, Dalia Palacios. She introduced me to the Texas land records. She goes, well, you know, I've been using Texas land records and finding ancestors, my Kantu ancestors about Texas land what? So that helped. Tejano Legacy is the book by Dr. Armando Alonso, and that was a clue given to me by my cousin also. Other than knowing Teodoro, he had bought Dr. Alonso's book, and he said, Esteban is in there. So that was a wonderful resource that I had tapped into. The trail led to Texas A&M University in Corpus Christi, the library, the Reynosa marriages, which they had online. Absolutely, yes. I actually set it up to where it wouldn't be in my way, and I wasn't thinking of go, so I followed it. VSALGS. Maybe there's a friendlier way to say that, but that's the Villa de San Agustin de Laredo Society, Genealogical Society. They include a database, of course, where somebody has done a whole bunch of family tree research. And my target, the other, I didn't know about. I'd seen the books, but I don't know what it meant. Danya Palacio said, if you're not using this, you're what do you call it? This wandering in without any direction. Sorry? Blowing in the wind. And she did make it obvious. She says, once you connect to that, you'll be able to build your tree. So I said, okay, that'll be my target. I want to connect to the marriage and recipes. Some of these I found through a wonderful organization called Rio Grande Valley Hispanic Genealogical Society. So thank you. You guys helped me build my tree before I helped you build it as well. That is what I felt like when I took up. I was going to go out and explore, and I was going to get everything that I could, and I was willing to shoot anybody that got it.
Obviously, you did it.
That's what I did. I said,
Yeah.
I'm lucky I'm alive.
Yeah, she says, my wife said, I'm lucky that you're not a widower. No, honey, no, really. But that's the way she felt too. Like, okay, here he comes. Tejano legacy. What a prize to all of a sudden, again, after 20-something years of not knowing anything about Esteban Davila. Here he is mentioned, Esteban Sebastián Gregorio Davila, were apparently, he's not sure, I don't know why he's not sure, but apparently nephews of Antonio Cantú Sánchez. Those Sánchez, I've never even heard of any possibility of connection. And the bigger, well, not bigger, but just as important, an inheritance. What does that mean? There's a will. This information is coming from something that's been recorded and discussed and talked about. And these books are, you find so many nuggets of information in one paragraph. Those were my biggest ones, obviously, all right? So there's it's easy to get this book in case you haven't got it. They have it at the library at the Museum of South Texas. All right. So another at the Texas Land Records.